There we go. This, and this. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to FSC Formula Series Championship. Season 7 is underway. New teams, new drivers, all sorts of plenty new stuff that I'm going to try and go through one by one throughout the stream. There's all sorts of stuff that's happened. My name's Casper. Glad to welcome you all here to Bahrain, where the season is going to start for F1 in real life. It's going to start for FSC here as well. 12 race calendar lined up for you, and boy, I cannot wait. My name's Casper. Again, glad to have you all along with us. We're currently looking at Matt Coper in the 97. I believe that's one of the new teams. I think that's the BMW. It is. I'm still learning as much as you guys. So there's still quite a lot of changes and all of that sort of stuff. But is Damio going to be the first on a lap? Yes, it is. Damio is in the. I think. I'm not sure. I think that's one of the new teams yet to be incorporated. We'll go on board with him for a lap down into turn 1, braking heavily because you go in 8th gear over 200, back end sliding there on exit through 2 and 3. Then it's DRS down here up towards turn 4. Open hairpin here, so you can take quite a wide line on entry. Careful there on exit. Into the left-hander here at 5, and then 6, 7. Nice, slightly technical part of this circuit. Very easy to get wrong. Lose the back end into 8. Again, tight hairpin, and then it's down to the most technical section on this calendar, on this circuit at least, which is 9 and 10. Goodness me, let's turn that off. Nicely through this DRS, get to as far to the right hand side as you can, as Damio is doing here. Through 11, taking an unusual line through that corner. And then into the top of the hill. Then it is another full blast. Woohoo! Not Tokyo Drift here, not yet anyway. One of the final sections up towards turn, I believe that's 14. And then the kick at 15. We'll go back on board with Damio. Baseline time here. What is that going to be? As DRS is wide open. What's the time to 31.611? We've seen plenty better times around the circuit, but it's not a bad one to start with. M. Dulliantis, he's in the Audi. Again, a new team here on the grid. You can see the German livery. Matt Coper goes fastest, 31.3 for the Beamers, but here come the other German manufacturers. It's a 32.5, so third overall out of everybody so far. Wesley is currently in the Porsche, replacing James Petty, who has now moved to Apex Racing. That is going to be a hell of a team ahead of next season. Well, ahead of this season even. James Petty was, of course, especially towards the midpoint of last season, heavily fighting for that championship. Mute Mirror goes 5th fastest, just ahead of Racing Gladiator. But here comes Wesley up to the line out the final corner. Known among international paddock fans for racing in Simtech, but he crossed the line in 4th place. Sandwiches himself sort of in the mid-pack. Darren for the Athletics goes 31.491. But I think the man we're all here to see is Mike Wallace. He's now on track for the first time, I'd say possibly ever, in terms of competitiveness. Hello everybody in chat. Needs Stevie, Shaggy, thank you for following Gio, much appreciated as always. But here he goes, starting his first racing and, well, functional lap. Bit of a wiggle there down the front stretch. But we'll jump back to Mike in a little bit. We should mention that, again, International Paddock have fielded a team here for FSC, so I can't wait to see what these pair are going to do. HBE, our champion from last season, he's starting a lap, hopefully going to be as dominant, he's going to hope anyway, as he was last season, winning a considerable majority of the events. He's in 7th at the moment, 35.9, but he has often gone for the second lap in terms of qualifying potential. So again, we'll jump back to him in about a minute and a half's time. Korkumalakis has stayed in the Pagani alongside Luigi Sven, so it's an unchanged lineup for the Paganis as he goes out of turn 4 on another push, or well, on his first push lap. 30.4 dead through that first sector, breaking down for turn 8. Georgiakis is new for the FSC squad. He's in the Athletic alongside Darren. He is replacing our GOAT that we had last season. I don't think he's racing at all. Is Athletic GOAT, back end sliding there. But here comes Mike Wallace down the back straight. Everybody's excited to see what sort of time Big Mike can do. What sort of time can he put in? Where's he going to start on the grid at the moment? Goes to 7th place, 33.842. That's not a bad time at all. Languishing towards the back, but there's plenty of space to improve. HB, here he comes. Is he going to be as dominant as he was last season? You bet he is. A 30.26 puts him clear, very well clear of the rest of the field. Milan now signed for Lotus for this season. After sort of jumping in and out of a couple of different cars, he's now a full-time driver for the Lotus squad. I think a good signing there for those guys. Korkumalakis, I think he must have been validated because he's going again. Which is unfortunate there, but here comes Georgiakis up to the final complex of corners. Nicely done for the Athletics Motorsport man. See where he comes out across the line. It's a 32. It's a 32.787. Puts himself in 7th between Diliantis and Wesley. Is that Milan coming up to the line? No, he's going through currently turn 11. Right, let's see. Is anybody else currently on a lap, I wonder? Mike on a lap. I think he's given it a go, but he hasn't quite got the pace to improve. Mute Mirror improves pretty well to 34.684. Still not quite a lap for to contend any higher, but still doing very, very much better than he was last season. Milan goes fastest, 29.6, so we've got a competitor for HB at least off the back of this first couple of laps that have come in. This could be very, very interesting. Korkumalakis up to the line now. The Greek man goes to 6th place, 31.813. Sandwiches himself right between the Athletics and Gladiator. Sorry, I'm learning this as much as you guys. So that is the Audis. Okay, so the Lightning Bolt is the Audi. Cool. Good to see. Let's see further down the field. Steve is amazing. The other BMW also currently on a lap up to the final couple of corners. Yells in the first sector. That just looks to be for traffic. As we see Sam also now on a lap time. We'll jump to Sam in a couple of moments' time. But up the line goes Steve. Where's he going to end up? Goes from 16th to 6th. That's pretty good for the man himself in the BMW. But here comes Sam over the top of turn 4. Where's he going to come out over the first sector? 29.793. That's a pretty good time in terms of what we've been seeing overall. Mike's just put whew in chat, understandably so, as Sam runs deep into turn 7 over the curbing. Racing on a pad is this man, Scotsman. Breaking through 9 and 10, lifting through 9 and 10. That's, again, there's a reason I don't race, but unusual there for Sam Box, currently yet to set a time. Some plays also worth mentioning in the Pagani, hasn't set a lap time, and Luigi Sven again hasn't set one yet, but it's pretty standard for him to set one later in the session. Let's go up to Georgiakis. He's put himself in 9th place at the moment. I've got a couple of outlaps at the moment. Doliantis in the Audi and Wesley in the Porsche. The man, the legend, Big Papa Wallace in a D. A lot of fans there for Mike. As Doliantis in the Audi is going through. Sandbox goes into 13th place right behind Mike, 34.204. So you know, International Paddock are looking relatively competitive, at least for the back of the field anyway. Let's see what's cracking up and down the field. Is there anybody else currently pushing? Wesley's on an out lap, so we'll go on board with the Porsche. Again, Porsche's new signing. That was James Petty in that seat. He's now moved to Apex. He's not racing tonight, I don't think. Braking in towards turn 1, second gear or first gear. Takes it in second. I've seen some people take that first corner in first gear. Back end stepping out there on exit through 2, and then it's back up the hill. DRS wide open, braking just past the 100-meter board. In for turn 3. Taking it at 70 miles an hour, third gear. And again, the drive through here is crucial. Quarter of a second up after the first sector, so it's a good start to a lap for Wesley. Braking for turn 8, missing the apex a smidge. And then it's back down the hill through 9. Ooh, I thought he was going to run a little bit wide there. Into 10. Manages to keep it on the grey stuff. DRS again wide open as he goes down one of many back straights here at the Bahrain International Circuit. Braking for 11. Nicely done through there, up through 12, running that in 6th gear, just nudging into 7th, fastest middle sector as well. 0.36 of a second up on his personal best, so that it's not going to push him up a position, but it's going to certainly push up his time. He's braking in for turn 14 through the kink at 15. That just sort of feels like part of the exit. Here comes Wesley's 33.3, so just over a third of a second up, not up a position, but has created a gap between himself and the International Paddock crew. Here's M. Doliantis. We'll turn off the telemetry. Half second up after 2 sectors, so he's going to be sort of pushing the top 8, maybe even sandwiching himself on those top 3 rows. But here he comes up to the line now. Mute Mirrors retired from the session, happy with his time of 34.6. Well, he's left the session, so that might not actually be the case. But here he comes up to the lineup. Doliantis, it goes into 8th place, 31.864. Very close to the time of Korkumilakis. Half a tenth down on that man. Racing Gladiator also goes 9th, so the Audis are both in the top 10 on debut. Steve's amazing on an outlap. Darren, half second down on the first sector, but here comes Milan. Can he improve his time through that first sector? Made a mistake, can't do it this time, but there's still time to go again, should he want to. 4 minutes of qualifying left. It is Lotus, Apex and Newbies BMW on the grid for pole position. Athletics in 4 and 5. Athletics, back end of last season, they were sort of improving, so I'd imagine they're going to want to keep that uphill trend and hope for the best. Curtis has joined. I assume we're going to see him jump in a car shortly, as lap times are running. Mike Wallace again is on another lap time in a gorgeous, and I say gorgeous because I've designed it myself, livery for the International Paddock crew. Red, white and blue, of course. Mostly white though, because that's our logo. Up to the second sector, slightly down, 0.2 of a second down on his personal best, taking a tighter line through 13 as well. That's not quite ideal through that section of track, but here he comes down the back straight, minding the traffic. Ooh, perilously close to collision there. Problems there through the final corner. Where's he going to come out in terms of time? It's 33, 34, not quite anywhere near up on his time. It's 35.0, so not a great time on that second lap. He does have the opportunity to go again if he wants to, but of course not this time. I imagine probably wanting to conserve the battery. Georgiakis, 10th place on an outlap. Steve is half second up, so this could be pushing, you know, top 2 rows up to the final corner. Here comes the BMW. Could we see 2 BMWs in the top 4, I wonder? Here he comes. Yes, we do. It's a third and a fourth at the moment. 31.033 for the German manufacturer. One of two we have here at FSC. Milan, again, making a mistake through that first sector. Not quite liking that, but HBE is out for a vengeance as he heads through this section. He's going to certainly want to try and retain his pole position crown, which he had for so many races last season. Both athletics are currently out on track. Damio again in a new team which hasn't quite been established yet, but I imagine we're going to find out who they are next week. Of course, don't forget that there is going to be a little bit of celebrations because it's 4 years, I think, of FSC. There's going to be a couple of changes for the Advanced Series because this is the Pro Series. So imagine this like a Tier 1, and there's Tier 2, which is the Advanced Series, and then there's going to be a couple of changes. I think the Advanced Series, they're going to be running at Silverstone as part of the celebrations. There's going to be stuff in the Discord. All glorious sort of stuff on that angle. Is Mike going to go again? Yes, he does. Just over half a second down. Ooh, hello. Spark in there. Signs of true speed there from Mike Wallace there. Sam Fairbairn up to the first corner. Braking. Nicely done. Like a true Scot, some would say. Through turn 3, DRS wide open. We'll see what happens with the first sector here. We've got a final couple of people starting a time. I think everybody will start one should they want to. Sam through the first sector, slightly up, but doesn't really indicate to be going up a position. Curtis, the other Lotus, has just managed to squeeze in to start a time. So this is his one and only lap. Same for Luigi Sven, as he sets fastest first sector. But we'll jump up to the top. Milan seems to be looking pretty pacey, as is HBE, not very far ahead of him, but it's the fastest middle sector for HBE, but it's only, well, less than quarter of a second up on his personal best, so doesn't look to be pole position material at the moment, but we've still got people like Matt Coper on a lap time. They're not too far off from each other. Here comes HBE, last season's champion. Can he dethrone Milan? No, he can't. Get closer, he can, within the 29s, but not close enough. Here comes Milan, doesn't really care, must have made a mistake through turn 13, but I don't think it matters because that does look to be a secured pole position for Milan. Couple of extra positions. Sandbox goes to 11th place, a good run for the international paddock man. Luigi goes to 6th. Again, we're used to seeing a very good qualifying session from the Italian, and that's exactly what's happened there. Damio up to the line now as well. Matt Coper, can he improve his time? No, he can't. Stays in 3rd. Damio goes to 4th. Wow, so 5 different teams in the top 5. And then it is just Korki Malakis not improving his time. So it is Lotus, Apex. Is that Lotus? I think it's Curtis Lotus. I do believe Curtis is Lotus. Yes, Curtis is Lotus. Okay. And then Matt Coper, Damio is your top 5 here at Bahrain. The gaps aren't big, especially for some of the higher up positions. So, you know, I think it's actually going to be a brilliant name. What is Chad's commentating nickname? What, my nickname? Hello, I'm Casper. Nice to meet you, Struzikale. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. As we've got Korki Malakis coming into the pit lane, or not. Oh, that's Luigi's fan. Okay, I was about to say. That got me confused for a second there. Them sparks aren't big enough, clearly, for you, Mike. But we can have a look at some of these guys' tech level as well, because we do run tech levels here as well. So Milan and HB running perilously close to the limit for this round. The limit for this round is 430. After this, it will be upgraded to 475 for the next 5 races. Then after that, I think it goes up to 500. But someone like Matt Coper and Stevens and Damio outdoing themselves very nicely in their cars. Atlantis doing pretty well as well. As, ooh, St. Plays, hello. That's, you know, not quite legal there. Might be why he's retired from the session. But we have got a race in 5 minutes' time, so don't go anywhere. Right, to anybody new who's watching this series, because I do realise we've got quite a few new people. First of all, welcome along. Glad to have you all here with us. I know some of you supporting International Paddock and all that sort of stuff, but there is other teams as well out there. I should mention a couple of bits and bobs. Where's the... What am I looking for? I'm looking for the regulations, because I just need to check something. I need to check the points system, because I heard from Little Birdie that the points system had changed. League regulation. Here we are. So there is no more points for qualifying. There used to be 3 points for pole position, 2 points for second place, and then 1 point for third. But that's not happening anymore. See if I can find the points in the sporting regulations. Here we are. So it's the standard points. It's the same point system we used for last season. So first gets 30, second 25, third gets 20, fourth 17, and then 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, and then 12th gets 1 point. There is a couple of caveats with numbers and that sort of stuff, but for this race, full points are awarded, and it's standard sprint points as well. We've got 3 sprint events at round 4, 8, and 12. So there's going to be sprint points for that. It's the same ones you'd see normally in F1. So there's that. Is there anything else that I should mention? Fastest lap brings 4 points. Hello, now that I thought it was just the one, but fastest lap brings 4 points, which is quite a hefty amount of points for a fastest lap. Obviously, as long as the driver finishes within the top 10. So there is still quite a lot of points to be gained. I imagine we're going to be getting going in a couple of minutes' time. So I'm going to ask chat, what are we thinking about predictions? When do we think we're going to be going? Well, we're going to be going in a couple of moments' time. But who do we think is going to be on the podium come the end of this race, just off of what you have just seen, I wonder? Love to get all of your opinions on that. As the command to ready up has been given. So we're going to see what tyres these guys are going to be on. It's 29 laps here at Bahrain, be about 45 minutes time. As we can see the flag of Bahrain on that tower in the background, just waving, saying hello to everybody. But here we go, starting the formation lap. 17 drivers on the grid, already trying to push each other off the road. Oh my word, look at that. Not sure if... are you allowed to do that? I'm not too sure. But that's quite interesting. Are they trying to force themselves to miss the formation lap or something? I'm not quite sure of the strategy there for Milan, but an interesting one nonetheless. Oh, Mike Wallace and Mute Mirror have collided. That's an unusual one. Yeah, so these drivers are basically trying to crash into each other. Not that I'm complaining, because it's pretty funny, but, you know, not ideal for these guys. You're meant to be warming your tyres up. especially for some of the hard runners, as there's contact between the front two. Does that mean they're both going to go? Yep, that's both of them gone. So Curtis now leads the formation lap. Hell of a way to start the season. Mike saying tit went in the back of me. I'm sure he's not a tit. I've met Mute Mirror. He's very nice. He's not a tit. What are you on about? Curtis leading the formation lap due to, well, Milan and HBE not playing ball with each other. And given that they're on hard tyres, that's not going to be ideal for them. Cold hard tyres into turn one. Well, that doesn't seem to be a good strategy. Speaking of strategies, soft, medium, hard in terms of possible options, but could we see somebody try and pull off a two-stop, especially someone like Wesley, Mike, Mute Mirror, someone further back in the grid, as these guys are coming up to the final couple of corners, ready to line up for this race. I don't know about you, but this race is gonna be a good one. 29 laps at Bahrain under the lights. 4 cars already lined up. 6 cars already lined up even. Them Delantis and Racing Gladiator also had some sort of incident with each other, as they're all now lining up to start the season here at Bahrain. 12 races, 3 sprints, a lot of racing action all the way to the checkered flag at the end at Brazil, but we've got 15 different racing events yet to go, and the lights are coming on any second now. Here they come. FSC is ready to go. I hope you are as well. Lights out for the first race of the season. It's a good start for Milan. He's going to get quite nicely away. HBE struggling. He's going to get mired in the pack as these guys are going side by side. 3 wide, heading down into turn 1. Not a great camera angle. That is Damir trying to force himself around the outside. 3 wide on exit of turn 1. Wow, goodness me. Curtis forcing himself up to second place. These guys are going side by side. Touch left, right, centre. It's a full safety car, or is it a virtual safety car? I can't tell. I think it's a virtual. But goodness me, what's happened there? It's virtual safety car. I think, is that for Wesley possibly? I think Wesley must have span off and caused a safety car or something or other. But good grief, what a start to the race we have had. 3 wide through that first chicane, and, well, chaos ensued from there. As is normally the case in Bahrain. We should also mention position changes. Mute Mirror, the biggest mover, up 6. Goodness me. St. Plays 5-second grid penalty for a severe collision with Mike Wallace. Hello, I can imagine he's not happy up north behind the screen, as we're probably going to be getting to go green in a second. And there we go, on board with Mike Wallace, the man who's just had a collision with St. Plays behind him. St. Plays going off track as well, possibly giving a position back to Racing Gladiator, but we'll jump to the top, because there's loads of cars going side by side through here. On board with HBE inside of turn 14 is a brave move. He's trying to make that stick. He's going to go side by side down the front stretch. And careful for the BMW. Steve's amazing. He's going to sandwich himself in the middle of this as well. Can he get himself in the middle of it? Not quite. HBE has got the pace. Curtis has got the lead though. Down into turn 1. BMW, Mac Hopper's forcing himself in there as well. And he's forced himself into second place as well, overtaking Milan. Will go on board with the BMW, as he's going to have the draft and, well, not the DRS quite yet, but as they go up towards turn 4, outbraking him into there. Yes, he gives it a go. Back end sliding. Hello. That's not quite how you make that corner. It's side by side on exit there into 6. You can't really go too wide through here, and Milan does take that position. Matt Coper gives it up. There's a brilliant battle here for first place. 6 cars fighting for that, sort of 7 really. Darren's getting himself into this one as well, as they go through 9 and 10 for the second time in this race. First time through here under full green conditions, as the back right of Milan locks up. On board with Matt Coper, Geffen HBE in the back. Then we'll be made down towards turn 11. So let's take stock. Milan and Curtis 1 and 2, well 2 and 1. if we're going to be pedantic in that order. Matt Coper currently middle of your screen. Then the BMW, one of the new entrants, is in third place. HB in fourth. Damio in a yet to be said what team it actually is. Team in fifth place. Steve again in the other BMWs. The BMWs are having a hell of a start. We'll go on board with HBE in the Apex Racing. Down through the final corner, then it is DRS is enabled, so DRS out of turn 3. It looks like it's going to be a tasty race. I don't think I could have said that much better myself. Steve is amazing, up past Damio, down braking into turn 1. Can Damio get back? Yes, he can. Gives it a good go. Nicely done, so out braking the BMW. That's not something you hear very often, especially in real life. BMWs do usually have good brakes, but not very good drivers, at least on the roads near me anyway. Over the top of turn 4, Damio's kept that position, so he stays in 5th place. But let's jump towards the battle here for the top couple of positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, split by not very much as HBE launches himself up the inside of turn 8. That was a move that I don't even think Matt considered there, and he's going to be out of DRS down the back straight. It's not a very long back straight, but still is not quite ideal. Newton Mirror picks up the first track limits penalty of the season, and who's that running wide? Is that Newton Mirror running deep into there? Yes, it is. Yeah, be a line through there, I'll be honest, but still not very good. Too wide through 12. Ooh, that's difficult to do. Breaking into 13. Matt forces himself up the inside. Forces HB almost off the road. Back end goes there for the BMW. Good grief, a lot of brilliant racing is being provided here. Milan goes back into the lead as they start lap 4 of 29. Believe it or not, it's only lap 4. Good lord. Fastest lap, HBE 33.838. Remember, it's 4 points for fastest lap, not just the one, which you normally see. Change for the lead. Curtis down the inside into turn 1. Teammates not battling for the lead. Perfectly understandable, because you guys are full-time racers. As could Milan get up the inside? He's got the DRS, but I don't think he's done it for the sake of the team. So careful for HBE also in the background. Luigi Sven does get himself past Darren TG1. Careful for Korku Milakis. He's going to try and force himself up the inside somewhere. I thought he was going to try through turn 8, but lost a little bit of ground to the Athletic ahead of him. Back end sliding on exit there as well for the Pagani. No, that's the Garuda. Christ. The only Pagani that we have is St. Blaise, but even then he's got a little bit too much tech level, I do believe. Milan moving to the inside to try and defend from HBE. No moves being made down this back straight. Going the wrong way. Good grief. We'll jump here a little bit further back. Racing Gladiator in the Audi with Georgiakis in the Athletic. Battle for 12th place on the grid as, oh, hello, friendly rivalry here. Wesley and Mike Wallace are having a ding-dong. Mike Wallace, of course, commentator for Syntec. Wesley, racer for Syntec, as Mike takes a very unusual line through turn 12 into turn 13, running wide into there. Not quite the ideal line through there either. We'll jump back to the lead. Here we go. HB, I thought he was going to try and move on Milan. Well, let's see what's cracking here. It's 3 wide on the exit of turn 2. Damio loses his front end. Bit of a wobble there. The BMWs are together. Are they going to try and overtake each other? This could happen. Inside turn 4 works for Stephen Amazing, but can Damio force his way down the inside? He gives it a go, but Matt Coper has got the speed on exit of turn 4, and that is the move done and, well, secured, really. Yellows in the first sector. I think, is that for Wesley? That does look to be for Wesley, so some problem there for the Porsche. The other Porsche in 10th place. As these guys trot, ooh, almost contact there is Damio on the BMW ahead of him. That Steve is amazing. As they head down towards turn 11. 5th time in this race. Up the hill, a lot of tyre crunching corners, especially through the back end of the circuit. And then we go again. HB ahead of Milan. Down into turn 14. Can Milan get back past the Apex Racing ahead of him? Currently 4.5 tenths of a second of a gap, so it's not too much distance, but you could easily regain that going into turn 4. Starting lap 6 inside of turn 1. Ooh, it's a dive, and it's a big old dive. Can he make it work? Hasn't made that one work. But can he make the dive into turn 4 work? Is he? Gives it a go, makes a look. Down the inside he goes, almost forces the contact there. But he stays in third place. Battle here side by side. Damio with Matt Coulter on board with the BMW's just got the track. He's got the track limits and he forces Damio to give up the position because going too wide into 6 is a no-go. Believe me, I've tried that a couple of times with just AI, not even people. And they couldn't really manage that. Damio taking a wide line on entry into turn 9. But he stays in this pack. Pack of 6 for 4th place. And they've got a pack of 3 ahead of them for the podium positions. Darren makes a move on Luigi's Fen. They're side by side through 11 inside 12. Can't make it work through there as Endoliantis in the outer does get past Newt Mirror. Not quite the ideal line there for Darren through turn 13. You're not really meant to, how do I say it, ride the curbs. There's still plenty of time to go. Milan, fastest lap, but Matt Cooper's had a brilliant exit off of that final corner. He's going to pick up 1 position, but his teammate's going to lose possibly even 2. Contact there side by side. Can Damio dive down the inside? Considers. Almost contact there. No. Stays in 4th place. We go on board with Steve is amazing though for a brief moment. Because then he's DRS down into turn 4. That's Korkimalakis considering a move, but no. Decides that his own car is worth more preservation. So through the S's they go. Should also mention that the battle for the lead is also heating up quite nicely. 1, 2 and 3, less than a second apart. You can really see it locking up through turn 10. It is very much Lotus against Apex in this race, but it's 2-on-1. Lotus do have the advantage. It's going to be interesting to see what HBE can try and make work as they head over the top of the hill of 13 once again, and then it is back down to the start-finish straight. We'll jump back to this battle here for 4th place. Overall, my word, Korkimalakis almost loses his car. Good grief. My word, he almost lost that car there like it was nobody's business. He's back in 9th place at the moment, certainly going to be wanting to redeem a couple of positions. Change for the lead there, HB takes the lead for the time being, but that's probably going to swap once again. Here comes Steve is amazing down the front stretch into turn 1. Has he got that move done? He's side by side with Damio. He's got the inside into turn 2. So Steve got to give that position up. We'll go on board with Luigi's Fen, who's had a stellar exit. He could pick up 1, even 2 positions down into turn 4. There's 1. Can he try for another? He goes alongside with Steve is amazing. And can he make that work? Can he make that work? Yes, he can. Steve tries around the outside of 6 to defend. Yellow flag through first sector. Wow, what a defensive move there from Steve. Inside of turn 8 is another attacking move from Luigi's Fen. Welcome back to anybody who's just returned from the ad break. Side by side into turn 8, into turn 9. Ooh, forced wide is Luigi's Fen. He's got the outside line, but is he gonna have the drive through here? Yes, he does. He's gonna have the DRS, I reckon, as well. Or does he? No, he doesn't. It's the BMW alongside him that does have it. It's Korkimalakis that's right behind Luigi's Fen as well. He's going to try dive up the inside of 11, side by side. Great moves being made for this entire lap by Luigi's Fen. Goes for the switchback through turn 13, but the outside line working much better for Steve. He's brilliant bit of battling. So if anybody wants to see some exemplary battles, that is how you do it. Oh, I'm not sure quite what's happened there. Racing Gladiator's lost his front wing. Bit of contact throughout. Is that Mute Mirror? That does look to be Mute Mirror. Does Racing Gladiator... Well, I was going to say, does Racing Gladiator have to pit? He's going to have to pit at some point because he's running without front wing. So there goes Darren down the inside. Nicely done. But these two are going to keep fighting. Look towards turn 4. Dive bomb there for the BMW riding the curbs. Luigi's got the outside line. He's got the racing line. And he's got the line on the dotted paper. Dotted line on the paper even. To make that move. Sign it off. Lick the stamp and absolutely send it. Lap 9 of 29. DNF4. Mute Mirror. He's gone into the pit lane and retired. As Racing Gladiator picks up a track limits penalty on board with Curtis. Battle for first place. Milan, Curtis and HBE. These guys have been battling pretty much since day dot in this race. Not quite the great line through there. Leaves them open to HBE. Does Curtis. Yellows through this section. Careful for Mute Mirror also exiting the pit lane. We've seen more and more recently that road cars are exiting the pit lane, especially after they retire in said pit lane. So I don't know why Mute Mirror is out on track, but that could cause a big problem, although I think he's off just on the outside of 2, 3 wide, going down into the first corner almost. It's the Lotuses that are side by side. Milan tries up the inside of 2, brilliant, but could HBE make the move on the 3 of them? He's going to give it a damn good go. The Lotuses are boxing him in a single spot. It's 3 wide into turn 4, contact with Milan and HBE. Could Curtis make use of this advantage? He goes alongside HBE. Where to look? It's, oh my word, what a dive! What a move! Oh my word! To anybody who wants to make highlights of this, good bloody luck. What do you clip from this? Wait, where do I look? Where do I look, guys? Down into turn 11 again. Milan making a move on Curtis. Ooh. Nicely done. But again, don't lose time to HB. These guys are teammates. He's going to try. I thought he was going to try for a dive into 13. This is brilliant battling. We've seen the pack of 6 break up a little bit. So that is unfortunate as Matt Coper goes. I thought we went a little bit wide through turn 13. Oh my word. On board with HB. Let's look at tyres as well. Not very many people have actually pitted. As there goes Curtis on 1. There's HBE on both. They're side by side, but they've both been outbroken. They've outbroken the Apex Racing ahead of them. Managing again just to put him in a box so that he can't overtake the man that's champion from last season. Again, dives back into the racing line, tries to get the switch back, does it on 1. Can he get it done on both? They're still side by side going through 5 and 6. This is brilliant racing here at Bahrain, and I can't wait for some of the racing at some of the other circuits that we've got. Tracks like Barcelona and Zandvoort are lined up for later in this season, so be sure not to go anywhere here on your Friday nights as they go down the hill into turn 10, locking up the tyres once again. Oh, this is a cracking battle. The Lotuses once again are side by side. Into turn 11, nicely done there, move by Milan, but again, that's not going to last very, very long as back over the top of the hill they go. Well, we've got a relative moment of calm, but there's no sort of such thing as a relative moment of calm in this race so far. On board with HB, the man in 3rd place. Could he pick up 1 or even 2 positions down into turn 14? Again, difficult to do, but not impossible, as we've seen throughout this race as they start lap 12 of 29. Here goes the Apex car. He's running up that road. He's going to go to the right-hand side on Milan. They're 3 wide again. And down into turn 1. Who's going to have the advantage? HB has the inside line, forces Curtis wide. And that's not an ideal line for Curtis, but Milan's got not a bad line through there as they head up towards turn 4. Can either of them make a move? No, they've just strung themselves slightly too far apart to make a move. So HB, Curtis and Milan, 1, 2 and 3. I should also mention, this is round 1. Not round 10 or 11 where people are fighting for a championship. This is round 1. So, you know, we're seeing battles like this in round 1. Tracks like Mexico City and Brazil for rounds 11 and 12, they're going to have some absolutely cracking racing. Especially when the stakes are as high as they could very easily be. Let's do a quick check further down the field. Audi's 9th and 11th. One of our other debutantes. BMW 4th and 12th, so sort of tailored to 2 cars really. One doing very well, one doing not quite so. International Paddock Crew 13th and 14th. Again, on their debut. Sam hasn't raced in quite some time. Mike hasn't raced in quite some time either, so it's more like dusting the cobwebs off at this point. And the Garudas are 6th and 7th. So again, Garuda's going to be picking up, at least as it stands, a decent couple of points. Curtis goes deep into turn 1. Is it intentional? I don't know. But it does open up HBU to Milan, who is now over a second down on his teammate as Matt Coper has dived into the pit lane. Where is he going to come out? He's going to come out behind the 2 that are battling here for 7th place. That's down to TG1 and Racing Gladiator. He's got the inside line through turn 1. That is a brilliant move by the Audi. But the Athletic is going to want more from that. Up towards turn 4. Can he get the move? No, he doesn't have DRS, and his opposition is pulling away. So Racing Gladiator manages to retain 7th. Matt Coper in 9th place, and in between them is an Athletics Motorsport as Athletics goes wide. Actually, they're side by side through turn 7 down towards turn 8. Can Matt make the move? He gives it a go, forces his way, and he's got that done at least for now. But Darren's got the switchback. He's 3 wide down towards turn 9. Goodness me, poor exit for Racing Gladiator out of them. Gives Matt Coper the position. Wow, good lord. And we've not even passed halfway yet, ladies and gents, and anybody who is else who is watching. If you're enjoying the race, please let me know in chat. I do have chat open. Try and interact where and when I can. We'll check up on the crew at the paddock at the back. Curtis, 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's not ideal for the Lotus, who's battling for the lead. Mike Wallace currently in 12th and Sandbox in 13th, 10.4 seconds down. Losing the back end through there as well, so possible setup problems. I'm not too sure. Curtis comes out in 5th place now with a 5-second penalty on his back as well, as the one stop is seemingly the preferred racing strategy. Racing Gladiators also come into the pit lane, currently dropping down to 12th place. As he heads through the S's here, lap 14 of 29. Is it 16 or 15? It's 15 or 16 laps to go. We're almost halfway. But let's jump to the front of the field. It's still a 2-car battle. These guys are both on hard tyres. Should also mention kudos to Corky Malakis, well, who was just in 4th place but just got passed by Curtis, who's making moves left, right and centre. 24 seconds down, or 25 seconds almost, down on Milan, who again he was fighting with just not long ago. as these guys head back up towards turn 14. Then let's see, does Korkumalakis come into the pit lane? He doesn't. He's going to go for another lap on those softs, which is, at least in my opinion, a definitely brave scenario. Side by side here, 3-car battle for 7th place now, because Darren's gone into the pit lane. It's Georgiakis, Damio and Steve down into turn 1. Nicely done, goes wide, does the Athletic. And we're on board with the Beamer. Heading back up towards turn 4. That's Damio making a move down the inside of Georgiakis, and there's the Beamer making a move as well. Steve picked up a position as they go side by side. Contact as well, I think, into turn 5. But goodness me, this is proving to have a lot of very, very good and very nice battles throughout the race as a whole. Battle for 11th place. That Racing Gladiator still without a front wing. This is a massive gamble for the Audi. He was in a relatively decent position, probably should have pitted. Oh no, he's still got a front wing. What am I on about? What am I on about? He's still got a front wing. It's just black, so I can't really see it from the tarmac. Oh my word. Yes, you're right. Mike Wallace is in the top 10 for the first time in FSC. Good stuff for the paddock man. But of course, he is still due a pit stop, so he's probably going to pit within the next couple of laps. I'd imagine he's going for medium soft, most likely, but it's going to be interesting to see. Korkumalakis, good pit stop there, going on with the medium tyre for the last half of the race. So soft medium working for the Garuda. Can Mike get past him? I reckon he's going to be side by side on exit. There's the Garuda. Braking into turn 1. Tries to go around the outside. Goes a little bit deep. And that's nicely done. P9 for Mike Wallace. We'll go back on board with the Garuda, because fresh tyres compared to heavily worn ones should be a breeze, one would say. But again, this is Mike Wallace we're talking about, who can do absolutely anything, as you can see, moving left, right, and centre. Goes slightly wide onto the curbing, and that's his first penalty for FSC. 3 seconds for track limits. Ooh, forcing Korkumalakis to check up there. Is he going to try and go? Ooh, hello! That was an unusual move. I think was he trying to let him pass? Possibly. But regardless, that's still a move made by Korkumalakis, and then Darren TG1 for the Athletics. I think again Mike is just going to give that one up. He knows that it's not part of his race, and so he's going to try and just keep that going. So Mike's lost a couple of positions there, but still good to see him racing in amongst the top couple of top 10 positions. Anyway, on board with Milan. We haven't checked in for the battle for the lead in a little bit. It's still tight as ever. These guys are both running the hard tyre, so I imagine they're probably going to pit about lap 20 for softs, maybe mediums, depending on which they fancy, as they head down towards turn 11 for the 17th time in this race. Darren got past Korkumalakis as well, so that is for 9th place overall. As they head back down the hill, Georgiakis, 3-second time penalty for track limits, I assume. Anytime you see track limits, I assume, multiple warnings, I assume it is track limits. In goes HB, outstays Milan. So Milan, is he going to try the overcut, the undercut even? I wonder. Into the stall goes HBE, braking for mediums. Interesting choice. We've seen a couple of cars run softs for quite a lot longer than 9 laps, so we'll see how that works out. Luigi Fenn in 3rd place. There's HBE behind him, so he's in the 2nd place for the time being. But of course, on Warren Haas, he's going to need to pit for us at least at some point. We still had a pit stop as well from Georgiakis, Mike Wallace, and Sam. But I imagine that's going to be a little bit later in the race, possibly about lap 20-ish or so. Steve's amazing. Got past Damio's up, but they're side by side. Possible contact? Possible, because Steve's given the position back without much of a fight. Darren TG1, 33.6 fastest lap, as they head back over into turn 4 for the 18th time in this event. Oh my word. Into turn 8 they go. Nicely done there. We'll jump battle for 9th place. Darren Korkanalakis making a tight battle as ever. We've seen these guys battle quite a few times since International Paddock picked them up halfway through Season 6. As Matt Coper gets his first penalty for FSC as well. 3 seconds for track limits. Unfortunate scenario for the BMWs. Both BMWs do have track or some sort of penalties anyway. HB does pick up second place. 20 seconds is the gap between himself and Milan. But we'll see how that works out once pit stops are done for the Lotus ahead of him. As Damio picks up a 3-second time drop for track limits. It's quite easy to hit track limits around here. There's a lot of spaces where you're, I don't want to say encouraged to run wide, but you can very easily do exactly that. Georgiakis, 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as he's come into the pits, as Korkanalakis does get past Darren TG1 down the front stretch into turn 1. Nicely done, goes a little bit deep, goes a little bit on the curbs. Not quite the ideal exit that he would have wanted, so he's going to be side by side even before the DRS zone. And with that happening, that is the move done by Darren TG1. Mike Wallace, 5 seconds penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Are we saying stretch? Oh, Christ. Bear with. If you want me to stretch, then I will. But I will give you at least a view of Mike Wallace pitting. We'll be back. Oh, Christ. There we go. Little bit of a stretch is never a bad thing. So Mike Wallace currently in 14th place, just out of the points, going very deep into turn 1 as well, on a fresh set of softs. Is he trying to avoid Wesley? I do think he is. His HP does go fast, it's 31.476. As he's got Sandbox further back as well. I imagine he's pitted for a fresh set of mediums. Yes, he has. Here's Milan in the pit lane, side by side with Luigi's Fen. There's a battle for second place now, so HB's cleared off 5.7 seconds ahead. But these guys are battling the man who hasn't actually pitted, so he needs to pit again. His contact there. So can Milan blast past? Yes, he can. 3 wide into turn 4. Something we've not seen for a couple of laps, but that's a brilliant pair of moves by the Lotuses. Wow. You've not... Again, I say wow a lot, but there's a lot of brilliant moves being made here at the race tonight. And this is a cracker of an event. Less than 10 to go. They've still got a couple of pit stops being owed, mainly from Luigi's Fen. As Georgiakis gets past St. Blaise in the Pagani. A very funky livery for the Pagani this season. Assuming that is, of course, their full season livery. So that's going to make them stand out very much so. We'll jump back up to 8th and 9th place on board with the Athletics Motorsports man of Darren TG1. Again, we just jumped from his teammate, currently in 12th place, riding the curbs there on the entry to 11 through the apex. And then 313 will look at position changes as Luigi's Fen comes into the pit lane. So biggest move you're looking at St. Blaise at 4. Biggest drops at the moment is Matt Coper Darren TG1, Sandbox down 3. But I thought Darren was going to make a move to the pits for some reason. Would be unnecessary considering those softs, I reckon, those mediums even, I reckon could still last till the end of the race. Good braking there for the Athletics man. Picks up quite a few bits of time. Is he going to be able to take him down towards turn 4? I think he's still a little bit too far away to make that move, but again, there's a lot of opportunities to make moves, sort of some of the popular ones that we've seen here in sort of turn 8 as well. And turn 13's actually been a hot spot, which is isn't common for overtaking, but it can happen. Sandbox 3-second penalty for track limits. So again, he gets his first FSC penalty this season. Not that we're counting, of course, but I might take note just for jokes. Milan 30.5 fastest lap at the moment, so the fastest lap time's tumbling down as Curtis comes into the pit lane. Is he going to go for a fastest lap or something or other, or is the hards just not working? Clearing the penalty as well for speeding in the pit lane from before. So that's effectively counted him out for the win, unless of course something happens, which it could very well happen as these guys do battle. We haven't had a safety car as yet, as Curtis drops down to 6th, 7th, almost there's 8th and 9th further back. That could cause a problem, but he'll be just fine going into turn 1 for the 22nd time in this race. But let's jump back here. Battle for 8th place now. Down to Juan Kokonalakis. Close as you like. They've been close for quite a few laps now, so it wouldn't be surprising to see a move or two being made into sort of like turn 1, turn 4, maybe even a here. But that is still one of the slightly more difficult moves to make. Damio, 3-second time penalty for track limits. Louis Sven has pitted for a fresh set of starts. He's going to make the most of those. Down into turn 11. Inside there, working a treat for the Garuda man as Damio tries for the switchback. You can tell he gives it a damn good go, but can't really seem to make it work into the long left-hander. One thing I've noticed as well, Milan is catching HBE. He's closed up about 3 seconds within the past couple of laps, so very much imagine sort of 26, 27. We could be seeing the repeat of the battle we were having for so much of the first first half, really, of the race. Damio gets passed by Luigi Sven as well. So once again, as he tries to outbrake the Garuda, but a better line for the soft shod flying car, because Garuda sounds like something that comes out of thin air. Ooh, careful from that Copa behind him. Into turn 8. I thought he was going to go for it into there, but decides against it. BMW again, top 5. A good result for Matt as Damio moves out of the way. Goodness me! Is that a safety car? Yes, it is! Oh, now that is gonna change a couple of bits and bobs here at this race. Good lord. Well, first of all, I was going to say these guys, should they want to, could get themselves unlapped. I would imagine Sam does, or not. Okay. Fair enough. Damio has left the session. Bit of a struggle there through the exit of turn 8. Couldn't seem just to make that work. Late safety car is going to cause a hell of a lot of chaos. So I can only apologise if my voice does go hoarse by the end of this. Partly my mistake, because I haven't actually brought anything to drink with me. I should have done, but partly due to me making a little bit too much rice. Didn't really have much time to attack that front. But safety car is out for the first time in Season 7. It's the Aston Martin with us tonight. HB, Milan, Curtis 1, 2 and 3, but there's still penalties for track limits and all that sort of juicy stuff yet to come. Those paddock guys are gonna, as much as I hate to say it, they're gonna be in the way, is what they're gonna be, as is Wesley. So while these three are gonna have a race of their own, I don't imagine that people like Louis Sven or Curtis even are going to be quite too happy about that. Remember, because this game, lap cars can't overtake the safety car really at any point, which does make things considerably more difficult for people that are trying to get back up the pack. Ah. "24 of 29. We're about to start lap 25. Sparks from the back of Curtis. 5 to go. Well, just as they cross the line, it will be 5 to go. Are we going to have the whole field clumped up by the race start? I'm not too sure. But it's still going to be interesting to see. There's going to be a lot of fighting in the last 4 or so laps here at Bahrain. Of course, season opener for this season. And there's a lot of calendar changes in the actual F1 calendar. Of course, Suzuka is now quite early on, which is not, we're not used to that. And of course, and Qatar is also going to be a little further back, thankfully. So, you know, there's a lot of calendar changes for the next year, and I'll be honest, with the recent rumours that tracks like Sepang and Istanbul Park could be coming back, I just hope they don't get rid of them for tracks like Spa. Because if they got rid of Spa, I think everybody would be unhappy with that. But that's just one man's opinion. Halfway through this second safety car lap, and we've jumped into an ad break on Twitch. So while there's a relative moment of quiet, I should mention at international_paddock on Twitter, at internationalpad, P-A-D-D, on TikTok. We do post stuff occasionally on there as well. And if you'd like to see the finale of last week, of last season, that is now on YouTube as well. That's currently on the International Paddock channel. Free for anybody to watch on YouTube. We do upload the race replays about a week after they are done, so they'll all be on there. Of course, you can watch any of our other racing series. We've also started doing last lap content, so if you want to watch a little bit of a last lap of a race just to see sort of what you're in for, if you watch the full thing, we've started doing that for the last couple of races, so be sure to check that out if you can. But again, we do upload all, or at least we aim to upload all the races of all of our leagues. So with Simtech, with all the ERC races, Supercharged, and with FSC as well. Usually a week after. So for instance, the finale went up today. Whoa! What was that International Paddock car doing? And I think that was Mike there. But, you know, we do aim to upload all races by about a week after the end of the race, so that you can watch it in your own time, because Twitch only lets you do 2 weeks, or for anybody who watches the 100 on Extra, that's just the 1 week as well. Lap 26 of 29, I imagine the safety car is going to be coming in this time around, so we're going to have up to three full green laps. Because of course anything could happen. I imagine the Paddock and Wesley cars are going to get out of the way. Or are these guys going to be let past the safety car now, I wonder? I think they might be. I think HBE's done them an absolute gem. Or is Mike the safety car leader? Or is... I'm honestly not too sure what's happening. But regardless, I think the Paddock car, yeah, they've ran off. So they've managed to unlap themselves, thankfully to HBE being a good top man. But we'll keep on this lead. This feels like an IndyCar restart, because they are looking like they are 2 by 2 further back. Into the final corner. Good exit there for HBE. So it's HBE, Milan Curtis, Luigi Sven and Matt Coper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 laps to go here at Bahrain. Moves being made further back as well. That's some players in Georgiakis trying to make a move on each other. They're side by side. Some plays drafts right past Georgiakis. So does Racing Gladiator. Tries to outbrake man ahead of him. Can't make that work. And so side by side, HB and Milan. Curtis again, he's trying to force himself up the inside. He's going to do that again into turn 4. Can't make that work, so he has to stay in second place. Careful for his teammate as well. Milan in third place as Darren picks up a penalty for track limits. Don't forget about the penalties as well. We'll switch to the penalties now as well. It's 3 seconds for quite a lot of the field. So someone like Curtis, he could be dropping quite a few positions and quite a lot of points with that as well. Over the top of the hill, 9 and 10. Only 2 more runs after that. As they head down towards turn 10, the Paddock cars are right there, so we've got to be careful for those guys as well. Nicely run through turn 11 and 12 through 13. The slightly complicated right hand. I thought Milan could lose the back end there for a sec, but not to be. That is Sam, I believe, just moving out of the way of everybody in terms of traffic. Nicely done there, Sam. Well done, and also well done Milan on that move. Poor exit from Curtis, and that's going to open up the door for someone like Luigi Sven, who's probably on the podium anyway, because of Curtis's penalty, but they're going to go side by side almost into turn 1. There's only going to be 1 lap of DRS at the end of this very race. Luigi Sven tries to go up the inside, can't make it work. Opportunity to turn 4 as well. But again, a little bit too far away for that one. So stays in 4th place. Delantis is back. A little bit of AI action there for you folks. As they head through turn 9, Curtis and Milan swap places, intentional, possibly, but careful for the Garudas as well. Luigi Sven, Cook and Malakis there, brilliant pair. Side by side through turn 9. Oh, I thought he was going to go for it, Luigi Sven, but decides better of it. Careful, Cook and Malakis again, close as you like. Yeah, side by side, they're almost 3 wide. Are they 3 wide? No, not quite. And that is Luigi Sven down the inside, gives it a go. The outside line working much better for Milan, and then Cook and Malakis is going to try the over-under on his teammate. That's exactly what happens. Into turn 13 for the penultimate time in this race. But we're going to jump further up to the front because HB is about to start the final lap of this event. There's not very much of this event left to go. DRS is now enabled as well. I don't imagine Malakis is going to have DRS down here, but down into turn 4 is going to be a crucial overtaking spot. Milan to the right-hand side goes to defend. Dan Cork and Malakis make it work. Ooh, just about contact there. careful for his teammate as well. This is for what is going to be, after penalties, second and third and fourth in terms of a battle. Milan's got the DRS, but Sergio Kokumalakis down the inside, gives it a go. Ooh, careful on braking there he is, but stays in fourth place, which is going to become third once again. The penalties tick through the edge of the final time. Kokumalakis tries the outside of 8. Difficult to do, especially because Milan was all the way to the very left-hand side. Side by side through turn 9. Again, we've seen someone try to do it, but it's quite difficult to do. Milan's got to be careful to not lose too much time, otherwise he's going to lose that podium position. Side by side, Kokumalakis, the outside line we've seen work really well, but Milan again puts that car exactly where he needs to defend from the Garudas behind him. It does seem to be a very good defensive run for Milan, but he's got to be careful to not lose any time or any major positions. But we'll jump to the front of the field. HBE starts this season like he ended the last. He wins the first race here at FSC. Curtis comes across the line, but then it's this drag race to the finish. Who's going to get the second and third places? Ooh, it's Milan and Kokumalakis. Sven Luigi finishes in 5th place, unfortunately. Unfortunate for the Garuda. BMW 6th place. Good debut for Steve is amazing. And that's Matt Coper also crashing out there on the end of the race. Steve's amazing in 6th place, but I've got to give it to Milan. That was an absolute stellar race for driver of the day, unfortunately, for St. Plays, who may have made up the most positions, but Milan, a stellar drive to pick up that second place position. So, listen, if you enjoy racing like that, please come back next week, because I assure you that there's going to be a lot more exactly where that came from. Should also mention where next race is, which is, if I can get the calendar, next week is Imola. So it's Bahrain, Italy, Imola, Saudi Arabia, and then the first sprint at the Red Bull Ring. But results are on screen. HBE starts the season like he finishes the last, but there's only 1 point gap between first and second, because Milan picks up 4 points for fastest lap. Be sure to tune in on Sunday, where we've got the ERC Masters finale, where I might be racing. We'll see what happens then. And then you got Supercharged on Tuesday and SimTech on Thursday, because ERC have their 2-week hiatus. But in the meantime, we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye. Have a safe one.